I have recently finished Eiyuden Chronicle's 100 Heroes and got the full 100% completion. So in this video, I'm going to talk about all of the achievements, what I thought of the game itself, and I'm going to throw in some tips as well and the best way to gain the achievements. Okay, so here we are then. The achievement list for Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. As you can see, I have 1000 out of 1000 game score and 56 out of 56 achievements. The game itself, my save file clocked in at about 139 hours. So, fairly chunky. We're going to start off then with the first achievement, Bond of Heroes. Attacks an enemy with a hero combo for the first time. Basically, two of the characters, well, it can be more than two. Some of the characters have a bond with other characters and have a choice to be able to do a special hero combo attack. This hero combo attack generally doesn't do any extra damage than normal skill attacks, but it has a funky, cool animation to it, so it's pretty fun to use occasionally. Some of the characters that have combo attacks are like the three main protagonists, Noah, Sane, Marissa. They have different combo attacks between them. Noah and Leon has one. The Eiyuden Chronicle Rising characters have their own ones. Like all of the main characters all together have a special 6-person attack. So yeah, that's hero combos. They are mentioned again further up, so I will talk about them again a little bit later on. Our first story-related achievement is the Primal Lens. Found the Primal Lens in the Rune Barrows. Basically, you start off the game with the Elder Vice Watch, and they're joining forces with the Imperial Empire to investigate some rune barrows and find a primal lens. And that's how the story starts. And that's basically that achievement. Talk to animals 10 times. I love animals. Each of the different villages, towns, cities all have quite a few animals sort of around the place. There could be cats, dogs, rabbits. There's penguins later on. They don't do anything story-wise. They just generally meow and stuff. I assume a lot of them, like the cats and the dogs and stuff, are named after developers' animals, possibly pets. It would make sense if they were, and it would be pretty cool. But yeah, it doesn't really do anything otherwise. Trusted Hero, use auto for 100 turns in battle. I tended to use auto for anything that wasn't a boss fight. You didn't really need to use much in the way of strategy. There wasn't much in the way of skills or different magics to use anyway. So you could set up like gambits so that the characters would only act in certain ways whilst they were under auto. So that was fairly easy to get. As you can see, I got it fairly early on as well. Next up is another story beat, A Day in the Life of the Watch. Punish Kogan and his band. You get told as part of the Elder Vice Watch that there are bandits stealing food, and you track them down to an abandoned mine. You go through the abandoned mine and find the ruins of a castle. Once you find the ruins, you meet up with Kogan and his band of bandits, defeat them, and that is the achievement. Fairly simple. Hometown on Fire. This is where the game tried to be a little bit dark with its story and then went psych and just decided not to bother. So basically Noah's hometown, as you can see, Kashiri village is burnt by Herspine. Herspine is a spy that you see in Eiyuden Chronicle Rising. He's a recurring character, basically. yeah, they burn down the village, and then it's like, oh, but nobody died in the fire, and then they immediately get to work on building the village again, and then when you go back in, everything's like rebuilt. So yeah, it's just like there's not really a whole lot to it. Raising the flag of resistance, Noah raised an army of resistance. Another story beat. Altus Vice gets attacked by the Empire and is overrun and captured. Lady Periel, who is the ruler of Altus Vice at the time, tells Noah to start to raise an army of resistance, and she will come and catch up later. And then Noah starts building his army. This army is based at the ruined castle where Kogan was in the abandoned mine. Next one is another story beat, conquering the Proving Grounds. Calathor passes the Proving Ground trials. This takes place in the Tree Folk village. The Tree Folk are basically they're kind of like Ents, but not as big. The sentient plant life, basically the tiny trees. The Proving Grounds is very similar to the Rune Barrows at the start of the game. It is basically a Rune Barrow. There is a rune lens at the end of that particular barrow, and getting to the end of that and defeating the bosses is basically unlocks that achievement. Take a proper rest. Stayed at 10 inns. That basically speaks for itself. You can stay at any 10 inns. You can stay at the same inn 10 times. There is an inn at the start of the game in Altus Vice that is free to stop at, because it's run by Cassandra, who is in the image for the achievement tile. So yeah, that basically speaks for itself. Another story beat, successfully defend Haishan. This builds on the war aspect of the game, which to me was kind of like one of the weakest aspects. It's still, you can see it's very much something that is going to be built on in sequels, if there ever is a sequel. But it was very much not very in depth, and on top of that, there really wasn't much sort of in the way of like, oh, I might actually lose this. I didn't lose a single fight. So Town Builder Beginner, raise the headquarters level for the first time. So one of the things that Suikoden is known for, that the game is based on, is having a town where you can build up a base and build up a headquarters. You can invite people in. They will open up various different shops and stuff like that. They'll make a blacksmith. They'll make an armorer. They'll make... You get chef. Like, you can have a cook-offs inside the castle. There's like fishing and all that sort of stuff. Eiyuden Chronicle's the same. In this one, you get various different blueprints. Blueprints may require a certain character. They will always require various different resources, which you can get from various different sources around the world. Next three are all based on the guilds. So the guild is one of the things that you can build within the town itself. And then you can dispatch allies from the list to go off on various different missions. The missions will get you resources. The resources that can then be built to build the town. Sometimes you will find rare resources from doing this. And there's also rare items that you can find as well, such as rune shards, runes, old books, that sort of stuff, that are useful for other achievements later on. Hot Spring Revelry used a hot spring item to bathe in the hot springs. So one of the things you can build is a hot spring. The hot spring will give you various different benefits when in battle. It's usually like extra HP regeneration. So yeah, you get a choice of using various different items, which are like fun little toys sort of thing. There's like There was a rubber ducky. You can get capybaras. So yeah, doing that will unlock an achievement. Noah welcomed the Shiarks as allies, the valorous Sharks. These are a land-dwelling shark race that live out in the desert. Apparently, in this version of history, the sharks have decided to come out of the water at some point and live in the desert and prefer the sand to water. So yeah, Noah basically goes after the desert to get the Shiarks, to come and aid him in his battle against the Empire, and after much talking, they agree. Expert appraiser appraised 10 items at the appraiser's shop. Sometimes in battle you can get various items that need appraising. You take them to an appraiser to get them appraised, and they generally are something that can be sold for a high price. Did that 10 times, you got your achievement. There's basically not much more to say about that. Bidding father farewell. Saint took leave of his father to pursue his own path. This is another story-related achievement. Whilst Noah is off in the desert to get the Shiarks to help him, Saint goes back to the name of the city eludes me. It's an imperial city, basically. It began with an A. He goes back there to try and get help from inside the Empire to fight against the Empire. It doesn't quite work out that way just yet. But he does find that there is a rune lens facility nearby that is doing all sorts of weird stuff. So there's the story beat with that as well. Honourable statue. Construct a hero statue at the headquarters. This is just a random blueprint that you can do. Get some resources. You can build a hero statue. That's basically it. Ace Forger foraged items 250 times. So on various different areas of the game, you can forage items that like shiny items kind of thing. You can find like a tree and it'll be shining, or it'll be like some sort of animal under a net, that sort of thing. Rocks as well. These will basically just be resources for the castle, and you can use those resources to build the castle up. You just need to do that 250 times. It's not much. I will reclaim this place. Marissa vowed to reclaim her home. Another story beat. The Revenant army, when you get to Yan'an, is knocking on the door trying to take over. After some shenanigans happen, they do eventually take over the place, and Marissa vows to take it back. Art is explosive. Created 10 different kinds of objects in the workshop. The workshop is a sort of later game thing that you can find. It allows you to build stuff for Noah's room, like tables and chairs and rugs and that sort of stuff, and like wallpaper for the walls and all that strange stuff. Nothing particularly important there. After you made the 10 different items, then you can kind of just leave it. Earned 1 million backer through trading. Hero of Commerce. I completely misunderstood this achievement originally. So the trading in the game is a way to make quite a lot of money really fast. Most of the different towns and villages have a trade house where you can go in, you can buy goods, and then you can trade those goods at other trading houses across the land. Now, I thought that if I bought, say, sugar in one place at 95% of its price and sold it somewhere else at 105% of its price, was me making profit. That is incorrect. The the ups and downs of the arrows actually are completely meaningless. What you actually need to do is just look at the prices of the items. There are various different towns and stuff where the prices of the items will be much higher than other places when you're selling them. So I think one of them was like Verna. Possibly Verna. There's a town called Verna. I'm going to use this as an example. It might not particularly be correct, but I'm going to use it as an example anyway. But you can buy diamonds. You can buy the diamonds there for, let's say, 2,000. And then I'm going to say Athrobalt. It's not Athrobalt, but I'm going to use Athrobalt in this example. Is a later town that you go to. You basically, it'd be like, oh, you can sell the diamonds off in Athrobalt. The diamonds will sell for 5,000, and then that's 3,000 profit. The arrows are completely meaningless. It doesn't particularly explain it too well for you. There is a guide out there on the internet of various different prices and stuff that somebody's already done, but yeah, generally just look for the stuff that is low in price in one place and sells high in another place. That's basically what you need to do. Ignore the arrows. They're pointless and meaningless. That goes hand in hand with spent $1 million back. I spent it whilst I was doing the trading stuff, basically. Place for heroes to return, maxed out the headquarters level. Speaks for itself. I think that the headquarters had 4 levels to upgrade to. As you upgrade the various different headquarter levels, it will allow you to build more stuff. Songs of Valor on the Great Sandy Sea. Noah and his friends escaped dire straits. So naturally, there is a point in the game where the bad guys start winning, because it happens in every single game. The only problem is there wasn't actually any sort of like bad thing that happened because of it. The town of Athrobal gets taken over, which is like the biggest ally for the resistance. And then the other group, whose name escapes me, the Dragon People, they joined the Empire. So it's everybody against the Allied resistance at that point. So, yeah. Your group then gets cornered sort of at one of the ports, and they get saved at the last minute by the Shi'arks. A distinguished theatre received an S rating at the theatre. You can build a theatre in game. You can find scripts to do various different plays. I think there was 4 or 5 scripts. Doing them with particular characters gets you an S rank. The lists are online for that. You can pretty much find them anywhere. I think I did Red Riding Hood, and I got a Red Riding Hood as an item. A big bag and a big sack, maxed out the stow pack and resource bag levels. These are things that you can build on the blueprints for the headquarters. It will just basically allow you to carry more resources and more items in your bag. Polished Partner, maxed out a weapons level for the first time. The maximum level for a weapon is 15. To reach level 15, you obviously need a small stack of cash. It's probably like 60,000-ish. I know it's 40,000 to get from 10 to 15, roughly about 40 odd thousand. But yeah, to have the ability to unlock the level 15 weapons, that is an upgrade for the headquarters game. But Landmark, again, this is something that happens At headquarters, you have a choice of building a landmark. Sweet Taste of Victory repelled the Imperial Army and held a victory feast. For this one, the Imperial Army comes and attacks you at your home base, and then shenanigans happen. People defect. A wild Ent shows up. An actual Ent this time. just shows up. It takes out a dragon, because why not? But yeah, basically, you defeat the Imperial Army. Last one to appear, collected all 120 heroes. Speaks for itself, you just have to recruit everybody. No small feat, obviously, like collecting 120 people is not an easy thing. Eve of the battle, the night before the battle on the castle rooftop appeared. This is just like all the story stuff. Just before you go to the final battle, Noah roams around the castle a little bit and speaks to people. Heroes Victory cleared the game and watched the ending. I won't spoil the ending. It was pretty decent. Basically, you go to the final castle and beat the bad guy. Hot Spring Enthusiast triggered 40 different hot spring events. So for this one, in the same way that there are combo attacks for the heroes, there are also various different events that only trigger when certain heroes are in the hot spring together. And they'll have like a little conversation and stuff, which is pretty cool. I think there's currently listed 47 different variations. You'll need to do 40. Card Collector collected all the cards. One of the mini games is a card battling game. It's really easy. I think I lost once. Yeah, I lost once and drew once. The rest of them were wins. You'll see in a minute how many wins in particular that is. It's a lot. Spoilers. Town building hero unlocked all development paths in the drafting studio. That's just simply like build everything in the town. Treasure Hunter opened all treasure chests. After you defeat the final boss, you do get a save file that allows you to free roam basically. Back before the final boss was fought. I basically went around all of the different areas to find whatever treasure chests I missed. I think I ended up missing like 10 or so, and eventually found them all. As a tip, the chests that are in battle count towards this as well. So occasionally there is a chest that will appear in various battles. Those chests count towards this percentage, so you do need to open those as well. Cooked all the dishes at the restaurant. Gourmand Hero. I did this whilst it was still bugged. There was a bug that meant that it would give you less points randomly, just because it felt like it. And there was various different recipes online that were deemed as being safe. I just generally like picked a couple of recipes and stuck to them. And then if it didn't win, I just redid it. You can redo each of these over and over again. It doesn't particularly matter. Upgraded all allies' weapons to the highest level. I love weapons. This is upgrading all 120 of the heroes' weapons. Well, not 100, all 120. It's all of the heroes that are able to be in battle who have weapons need to be upgraded to level 15, basically. It costs about 3 to 4 million to do all of them. I will explain a simple and easy way to get money in a minute, but Begoma Collector. Collect all the Begoma. So Begoma, and obviously we've got the Begoma trainers there as well. Begoma is a Beyblade style minigame. Yes, Beyblade. The one with the spinning tops that fight each other. For some reason, that's in the game. No idea why. It's not really been a thing since the 90s, but I guess since Suikoden is really a 90s game, that's probably why. I no idea. Basically with Big Oma, as long as you've got a better Big Oma than your opponent, you win. There's not really much to say about that. There are lists online of where to get the Big Oma from. Some monsters drop Big Oma. There are quite a few trainers in various different towns and stuff that have Big Oma and whatnot. So, bread, Eggfoots 10 times. Eggfoots are kind of this game's version of like Chocobo Racing. They're like little eggs with legs, basically, is the best way to describe them, like egg lizard things. There is a stadium and you have to race them. Once you race them, you get to feed them feed and level up their stats. Once they've raced 9 times, they can't race anymore. And then you can breed 2 Eggfoots together once they've been fed 6 times. I think it's 6 times. It might only be once that you need to feed them, but I did it 6 times just to make sure that what I was breeding was actually good. Now, with the Eggfoot racing, there is another achievement a little bit further up. I recommend doing this later in the game rather than doing it straight away. The reason being is that you unlock premium food, which makes it a lot easier, and you also unlock champions eggs as well that you can buy, which gives you a chance of getting B-rated Eggfoots, which you need an S rank to win, basically. So leave the Eggfoot racing until you've unlocked those particular upgrades. Card game champ. Defeat all heroes at cards. Yes, all heroes. And by all heroes, it doesn't just mean all of the playable heroes. Some of the bad guys are unlocked as well after you finish the game. And there was like 5 extra characters that got unlocked after the game was finished. So there are something in the region of about 125 people to face in cards. The card games take up about 5 minutes a piece to play. Sort of 5 to 10 minutes. It takes forever to do this. I kind of left it towards the end to do this. I recommend doing this as soon as you unlock cards. As soon as you unlock the card game, go and start playing this card game, because otherwise it's going to be a grind and you don't really want to be doing that. One of the races, I can't remember exactly how many races there are. I think there's about 50-ish. Probably less than 50. They're not too difficult to do. Once you get to S rank, you can kind of do them. Stats-wise, for your Eggfoots, you want about a spread of like 500, 1,000, 1,500, roughly, for your stats. And then you want certain stat boosts as well. There are ones online that they recommend more. I think I had a stamina boost and like just a general speed boost thing that came up. So I wasn't set up to do it like super easily, but yeah. Took first place in all the Shiar Craft race classes. Shiar racing is something that you unlock when you go to the desert, and you can do it when you're in the desert. There are 4 races, I think there are, if you can call them races. They're like time trial type things. The first 2 were easy, no problems. The 3rd one took a couple of tries. The 4th one was a lot more difficult. I eventually got it. There was some weird bug that I had where it just decided that if I was using the control stick, it would just invert the controls. I'm not entirely sure why it did that, but the way I got around that was by using the D-pad. So if you are having that problem, use the D-pad. The hero who fished the world caught all types of fish. As I mentioned before, there is a fishing minigame. It's not particularly much in depth. You just kind of, once the float goes under, you press the button, you catch the fish. There's not even like a mashing thing or anything like that for it. There are 52 types of fish around the world. A lot of them you can catch in your own base. Once you upgrade your base, you will need to get the rod upgrade as well to catch some of the rarer fish. But yeah, there's a list for that as well. For all of the different fish, there's a list, so it makes it a lot easier. Cleared all the mock battles. There are 5 mock battles that you can do. Stadler, the character that's in the picture, allows you to do mock battles once you recruit him. It's basically the war game type mechanic, because it's not particularly... It's one of those where it's like, it's in the game, but it's not particularly used that much. I think even with the mock battles, it only just reaches double figures for the amount of times that it makes you do that war game. The mock battles are basically, it gives you like a scenario and you have to win. If you've got the upgrades for the character boosts, for the war battles, then it's child's play basically. Hero Combo Master, activate 20 different hero combos. Speaks for itself. As I explained earlier on, there are basically certain heroes have combos. You need to do 20 different ones. Collect all the rune shards. There are rune shards that you can collect throughout the game, as well as runes. Rune shards are items that you can use in battle, which will use a particular magic. There are... I don't think there's a list online of rune shards just yet. There is a list of runes. They are fairly easy to find and generally are like each of the different elements with a number on the end, 1 to 6 basically, and then there's like the same for resistance to the elements, and there's like 1 to 2 for those. Complete the encyclopedia of enemies. Know thy enemy and know thyself. You will get most of these during the game as you go along. There are, I think there's 6 or 7 that only appear in the Proving Ground trials, or only count if you beat them in the Proving Ground trials later on. Nothing's missable, which is good for that list. There is a list in game as well, so you can find out which ones you're missing. Hero Beyond Time and Space. Passed all trials at the Proving Grounds. The Proving Grounds is a... It's like a list of battles that you do. Basically, you do 2 normal battles and a boss battle, and you go through 26 floors of that. Every 5th floor you can leave and save, and then you can carry on from that next floor. So like if you finish on the 5th floor, then you can carry on from floor 6. That is a very easy way to gain experience points and money. Once you finish the Proving Grounds, you unlock the expert level, which I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, there is a super boss at level 26. That was pretty much the only thing that ever gave me any sort of difficulty. However, for some reason my game, I think, glitched or something. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but I was leveling up all the characters because you have to use particular characters for different levels. It forces you to use them, all of your characters basically. And when I was doing Chandra the Dragon, for some reason, once I finished the enemies off, Chandra leveled up to level 99. So from that point on, I had Chandra in my party, and it was pretty much a cakewalk. Nothing could kill Chandra, until we got to the final boss, which could do damage, but I just kept healing. So, yeah. Dealt over 3,000 damage in a single turn to an enemy. Now, I tried doing this with Chandra's Fire Breath. Chandra could use Fire Breath on 6 enemies and would do, like, over sort of 600 damage to each of the 6 enemies, which was like, that's over 3,000 damage. Doesn't count. It's a single turn to a single enemy, so you need to do it on a boss. The best place to do it is basically these Hero Trials bosses. And then the best way to do that is once your characters roll up to level 99. Most of the characters that you have will be pretty high level anyway by the time you're sort of thinking about doing that. But yeah, you need to do it on a single boss, basically. So level 99, I don't know whether, again, this is like a bug or it's supposed to happen or whatnot, but once I beat the first boss in the Endless Trials, all of the characters that I had in my squad all leveled up to 99. So yeah, that was a fairly easy way to get Noah up to 99. I don't know whether it's supposed to do that, but hey, it happened. So, a hero whom the runes smile on collected all the runes. The runes are your magic in the game, and also allow for like stat bonuses and stuff. Most of them can be bought in shops throughout the game or are acquired from the various different mini games and stuff like that you do. There are, I believe, 5 that can only be gained through the Hero Trials, or at least that's what it was for me. The reason why this isn't further down with the Hero Trials one was because one of the runes, MP+, wasn't dropped by the boss that was supposed to drop it. In Endless mode, you can basically keep exiting out until you get the boss that you want, which is what I did. And then once I eventually got the boss, got the rune dropped, and that unlocked that achievement. And then lastly, Legendary Hero unlocked all the achievements in the game. So yeah, that is the 100% completion for Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. My tips are, as I said, I was going to go over them. Don't worry too much about missing anything. You can go back after the game is finished and pick everything up if need be. Obviously, if you get stuff as you go along, that's better. As soon as you unlock the card game, start playing the card game against the other characters. There is, as I said, 125-ish characters to play cards against. It gets very boring, very fast. Each match is like 5, maybe 10 minutes long. It's not a good time. And yeah, the trading house as well. Don't worry about the arrows. Ignore the arrows. Just look at the numbers. It's the best thing I can say. There's various different resources and stuff online that you can find as well for that. So, I think that's about it. I very much enjoyed playing Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. There are some things that I would like to see improved if there is a sequel, like the war stuff, like I said. Maybe some better skills, more magic, that sort of thing. I am well aware that like the Suikoden games didn't particularly have much in the way of that sort of stuff anyway, so I'm not surprised that there's not much depth to the combat, but it would be nice if there was a little bit more depth. I would like to see a game featured around Lean. No name Lean? I think her name's Lean. I honestly don't remember, because I've played Chrono Cross since then, and there is a character called Lean in Chrono Cross. Lean? Len? Noah's sister. I would like to see a game based around Noah's sister. She seems to be quite an interesting character. So I would like to see that. I think that would be quite a good sort of prequel-ish sort of game. Sequel, maybe. Sort of in the same vein as Rising was. There's obviously quite a lot of the world to flesh out as well. We've only seen a small portion of the world. So that'd be quite nice as well to see some more of the world. We don't see New Nevaeh in 100 Heroes, and obviously New Nevaeh is in Rising. So we know there is various different places outside of the area of the world that 100 Heroes takes place in. So yeah, I personally would give this game a 9 out of 10. Just purely because for me, it scratched a itch that Suikoden basically left. Because obviously there's not been a Suikoden game for a very long time. I am very much looking forward to Suikoden 1 and 2 remastered. Whenever they appear. But yeah, that is my 100% completion for Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes. I do hope that this helped in some way. If it did or didn't, drop a comment down below and tell me. And yeah, hopefully I will do more of these, and the royal we will see you in the next video. Bye.